Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So my name is Bayu Arga Krishna. I'm from 2017 Office English Education STK Balitna Surabaya. So here I will explain about comprehension, the goal of reading, specifically in reading narrative. So for the first I will explain about what is comprehension. So comprehension or extracting meaning from what you read is the ultimate goal of reading. Experienced reader takes this of granted and may not appreciate the reading comprehension skill well. So comprehension reading is what you understand about while you reading something. Whatever text is. So there are general strategies for reading comprehension, and I will explain you some of them, not all, just some of them. So the process of comprehending the text begin from the children can read when someone gets a picture of them and they listen to the word, see the picture in the book. So what they catch from the picture, the story from the reading itself. So the first is using prior knowledge and previewing. So when students previewing text, they tap into what they already know before in their prior knowledge. So they use them to understand what the meaning of the whole story, what have they read. So for all text, it can be news item, recount, of course narrative, and the next is predicting. So when a student make prediction about the text that they have about to read, so it set up an expectation based on their prior knowledge about similar topic. For example, like when they read Malin Kundang, it's maybe have a similar story with Tangkuban Perahu or something. And as they read, they may mentally revise the prediction of they can remember. So when they make a prediction of the story and the story is not same with their expectation, they will use another prediction to predict the story, so it can improve their understanding about the story itself. And the next is identifying the main idea and summarization. So identifying the main idea and summarization require that students determine what is important in the text and what is not something, and they put it in their own word. As implicit in the process of trying to understand the outer purpose of writing text. So they will make a draft in their mind, something like draft. So this one is very important and this one is not. So they can know they can answer the question that they have, something like that. And the next is questioning, asking and answering question about text in another strategies that help students focus on the meaning of the text. Teachers can help by modeling both of process of asking good question and strategies by finding answer in text. So the teacher force the student to answer by their own words. So it's teacher encourage the student to understanding well the meaning the meaning of the whole story of the text itself. And the next is making inferences. In order to make inference about something that not explicitly stated on the text, student must learn to draw on prior knowledge that recognize clues in the text itself. So it something like in Indonesian it's called makna tersirat. So the students should use their prior knowledge. So what if the main character doing this? What's the meaning and something like that. And the next visualizing. Visualizing is the what I have read in my books. This is the more important things that we saw. No, so studies have shown that students who visual reading, they have more they have more well understanding about the story. So the reader can teach advantages of illustration are embedded. So the student can imagine what happened if Kancil doing this, what happened if 11 doing this, and so the student can have more understanding. Because they have visualization. So they know what happened in the story if this is the real life, something like that. And the next is, I'm sorry. So the next is strategies for reading comprehension and narrative text. So narrative text tell a story. It can be story in true story or fictional story. We don't know what is it, and there are a number of strategies that will help students understand narrative text. How to say understand well the whole story of narrative text. And the first is story maps. What is story maps? So story map is something like how to say it? Mind map maybe. Yeah, it can be called mind map, but not mind map, but not really mind map. So teacher can have student diagram and story grammar of the text to raise their awareness of the element the author used in construct the story. Story grammar includes, so the first is setting, so who and when and where the story happened, so which changes of course of the story. And the next character, the people or animals in the story, whatever is it, the main character, and including the protagonist and antagonist character. And the next is plot, the storyline, which typically include one or more problem or conflict that the protagonist must address the ultimately resolve. And the last is theme, the of reading lesson of the main idea. The author wants read to learn from the story. I mean, coda, something like that. Yeah, it's called coda in the Phoenix structure, and it could be explicitly stated in fable in the story. So we can find in the textual meaning. So it must be explicitly stated. So and the next is retelling. What is it, retelling? Retelling is something like the teacher asks the student to retell. So, for example, the teacher asks the student to retell the story. So the teacher encourages the student to, how to say, drawing in their prior knowledge. They should know, ask the student to find the supporting sentence of the next sentence, something like that. So the teacher can ask the student by retelling by their own word. So with retelling with their own word, they should have something like understanding about the story itself. The next is prediction, and teacher can ask student to make a prediction about the story from the title of the book, from the picture that stated in book, and something like that. So which will gonna be how the story happened, something like that, and the ending. And the last is answering comprehension question and asking student different types of question. So something like with the main character. It's of course in Indonesia we use HOTS for methodology. So it can be many much or not many questions, something like that. And so there's explanation for me. Actually there is still many more strategies for reading comprehension, but but I can explain all because there are so many strategies, so many methodology that use in just for narrative reading. So that's thank you for me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.